Sponsor Lelu Nishmat, Natanel Tolik Ben Sveta, chini, Doni Ben, Adino, Yosef Ben Angela, and Levy Ben Leah. And the Shamot should have a Leo. Okay, so I have to start. I'm not even sure we're going to wind up going, but there was this fire piece of Torah I saw, brought down from a sefer, Yagil Yaakov. I'm not sure who it is, but I saw it brought down in a new Parsha sheet that started going out this past week. He says a crazy idea. He says that the parashiyot of Bereshit, Noach, and Lech Lecha correspond to Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. And he ties it in. It makes sense because Bereshit is the beginning of the world. Everything starts. So that's Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is celebrating the birth of Adam HaRishon, and the whole world starts all over. On Parashat Noach, last week's parasha, it corresponds to Yom Kippur. What's the avodah? What's the point of Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur, all about tahara, to become purified again. You know, many remazim that Noach, the entire purpose of Hashem flooding out the world was like Hashem was putting the world into a mikvah. Right? When you go to the mikvah, when you're tameh, you come out, you're tahor. The entire world went into the mikvah. The entire world went into a purification state, which is part of the reason why it rains for 40 days and 40 nights.
Which Rabbi said this?
Yagel Yaakov. It rains for 40 days and 40 nights. So therefore we know how big does a mikvah have to be? 40 saw. That's the measurement, the halakhic measurement of a kosher mikvah.
40
so,
what?
Saw is a measurement. It's a lot. It's a lot of water. So what happens is, so Parashat Noach corresponds to Yom Kippur, to become tahor. Parashat Lech Lecha corresponds to Sukkot then. Because what's the idea of Sukkah? It's to leave your house, to go from your permanent dwelling into a temporary one. Lech Lecha, Hashem says to Abraham, literally, Lech Lecha, go from your comfort zone and go out. And where does he tell him to go? He says, don't worry, I'll show you. Just start going. You go, I'll show you the way. So he says those parashiyot correspond to Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. Just fire. So we finished, because why? We just finished the whole avodah. And then all of a sudden it comes back, and we're like, okay, we're already dried out a little bit. Right? We're already like, we don't feel the same fire. So Rav Melech Biderman said, Bereshit can also be understood, many Midrashim tell us, Bereshit is Beis, Reshit. Two, Beis is Bet, is two. Two, Reshit is beginnings. Two beginnings. He says, what do you need two beginnings for? He says, what happens is, you get a fire, and you're passionate, and you're going to do something, you're going to jump into it with like an eager and a zest. Like 2-3 days later, you're like, all right, whatever, okay. It was cute while it lasted. He says, no, so at that point, when you feel like, okay, whatever, that's when the second beginning comes. Refire up the oven. Put yourself back into the zone. So what happens? So Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot happens, and we're excited, and we're good, and we're pumped up, and like, we go into a week, right? Sukkot finished this year, I think a Tuesday it was. So okay, so by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, by Friday, all that excitement's already gone. So we start brand new. No, it started again. Bereshit is Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. So now, Lech Lecha, Parashat Lech Lecha, Parasha is the time of Simcha. Lech Lecha is a Simcha. Which is why Lech Lecha is, B'Gematria, 100. 100 is completion. It's perfection. So I want to tell you, in a way, we can maybe even understand that this is the beginning. It says when Hashem created the world, if you look in the Torah, it says, Bihi Baram, and He created. The letter Hey in the Bihi Baram is small. It's written smaller. So the Sfarim bring down, if you read that differently, it says, first of all, the letters Bihi Baram spelled Be'avraham. With Avraham, He created the world. But also Behei Baram, with the letter Hey, Hashem created this world. Hey is a letter of Teshuvah, starting over again. But we see by Avraham, Hashem created the world. Why? The Medrash tells us that Avraham Avinu came to the world, he saw what was going on. He said, this place is spiraling out of control. Sounds familiar, yeah? You look around and the world is spiraling out of control. Avraham Avinu says it's like a palace. It says there's a palace is on fire. If you find yourself like a castle and you see the castle is on fire, you automatically be like, somebody's got to live in this place. It's not even like a little like abandoned place where they're a squatter. Like, this is a gorgeous building. Meaning the world is gorgeous, it's beautiful. You can go, if you ever take a nature hike and just watch nature, it's like this world is stunning. And for it to be spiraling out of control means the master of this house seems like he stepped out. So Hashem says to Avram, goes, no, I'm here. I got this. So Avram says, okay, you know what? If he's the master of the world, I got to trust in him. Abraham puts us all on to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's where we get it from. This is what we do. Everything we have, it goes back to Abraham Avinu. He realized in the world that was spiraling out of control, if you focus on Hashem, everything's chill. Everything's good. But what's the most important ingredient, though? It's to focus on Hashem. You know, Abraham Avinu, he gets his name changed in this week's parasha. What was his name? Avram, without the hay. Becomes Abraham. How ironic. In the word that says, Behi Baram, Hashem created the world, we read it as Avraham. The hay, which gets added, is a little small. Sometimes you have to look for the small things in life. The little like excitement is like the small little thing. So a beautiful idea today. So like this. People think that they're in control. People think that if you go through life very easily thinking that Kochi ve'otzim yadi, it's up to me. What I want is what's going to go. If I put more effort in, I'm going to get more rewards. Everything's according to the way that I do it. Abraham teaches us that's not true. The more you trust in Hashem, the safer you are. If you look, Abraham has 10 tests. Eser Nisayon. 10 challenges. First one that he says is, the first one, according to different opinions of which ones are the actual 10, the first one, many Mefarshim understand, was Lach Lecha. This week's parasha. The name of the parasha is the name of the first test. Literally, get up and go. In order for you to succeed, means get up and go. Leave your comfort zone. Leave what you're used to. It's easy to do this. It's easy to do that. It's easy sometimes to do the mitzvah that I'm used to. Forget even, obviously we have to do more mitzvot, we have to do better mitzvah. But let's say a mitzvah that you're used to. It's your easy mitzvah. It's your bread and butter. Have you ever stopped and thought about it recently? A person told me today, is older than me, he told me, I've been wearing the same pair of tefillin for 50 years. Do the math, okay? He says, but I know my tefillin were bought by my grandparents, the guy says, a year and a half before my bar mitzvah. They were in Israel, they wanted to get me a pair from Israel, it was special. So my tefillin are close to 53, 54 years old. The guy says, I've never checked them. Wow. So Baruch Hashem, he told me, his wife said, maybe it's time you should check your tefillin. He says, okay, you're right. So he goes and he checks them. He said, basically, the guy he brought it to gave him the death sentence. He goes, these probably aren't going to make it after inspection. Probably going to wind up having to get a new set. So in a way, on one hand, it's a sad thing. On one hand, it's a great thing. It means for 50 years, let's just go with 50 years, he's been wearing tefillin on autopilot. It means like he didn't really think too much about it. Put it on and took it off. Put it on and took it off. It's just like on routine. So that's the sad part. The good part is, so now, even though he's 60, whatever years old, 64, 65 years old, he gets to restart his mitzvah of tefillin. We can't go through the world on autopilot. Cruise control. Because you don't realize all the nuances. The mitzvah that's easy, we put on tzitzit. I'm talking to myself. Tzitzit, I don't even think about it in the morning. It's part of my routine. I wake up, I wash my hands, I start getting dressed, I put my tzitzit on. Do I stop for a second and think about my tzitzit? It's just part of the mitzvah. I throw it over my head, put my shirt on, okay, go downstairs, I'm good. If you stop for a second on any mitzvah that we already do, Bereshit means to restart. Lech lecha the name of this week's parasha, literally means, to translate, lech, go, lecha, to yourself. What do you mean? I'm here. Wherever I am, I am. What do you mean, go to myself? So I think it means go out of your comfort zone and become a bigger version of you. Go find yourself. And by the way, this corresponds to Sukkot. Sukkot is Zman Simchatenu. That's happiness. That's joy. People think, oh no, I'm happy. Status quo, I'm happy. And I do the same thing every day. There's no change. I know what's coming tomorrow. I'm happy. You're not happy. You're complacent. It's two different things. To take easy street makes you, okay, yeah, this is what I do. The Torah is telling us by Abraham. Abraham, by the way, was the year 2000. Right? 1948, Avraham Avinu was born. It's easy to remember. State of Israel is 1948, Avraham Avinu is 1948. It's not the same year, guys. It's different counts. One's Torah's count, one's secular count. 2,000 years in, right? You can say, okay, this is the way the world works. Why change anything? Because there's a way to be better. Abraham grew up in a world where everything was crazy. And I thought you could say it like this. There are different opinions as to what age. How old was Abraham when he recognized God? One opinion is 3. One opinion says 40. One opinion says 48. Those are 3 different opinions. Okay. So first of all, it's on a very simple level. 3 makes sense. 3 is when you start to think a little bit. He was thinking, he was growing up, he said, okay, this is crazy, there's got to be a bigger being. 40, the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot tells us, 40 is the age of wisdom, of intellect. So you stop and you think, you become wiser when you hit 40. So what's 48? What's significance is, maybe he found God at 48. So it says, Avraham Avinu was 48 years old when they built the Tower of Babel. The tower of people building, they built up, they said, we're going to go fight God. They can build a tower and they're going to go fight Hashem. Tower of Babel, at the end of last week's parasha.
Who was that?
He was 48. Avraham. Meaning, at that age, he stopped and recognized that there are people who think that they could go fight God. Is when he recognized that that's insane. You're going to fight God? I'm going to go to opposite extreme. I'm going to go over the other side. I'm going to come closer to God. Which is part of the reason why Avram's called Avram HaIvri. Right? Because it says, what's Ivri? Ever Hanar. He was on the other side of the river. If the entire world is on this side of the river, Avram says, yeah, I'm going on that side. It's like Avram says in this week's parasha. He says to Lot. Lot is his nephew. He raises him. He gives him crazy money. He sets him up for life. And then his people start beefing with Avram. Lot shepherds, Avram shepherds, they start fighting with each other. So Avram says, very simple. Lot, I'll let you pick. You get first pick. Which way you want to go. You go left, I'm going right. You go right, I'm going left. I don't care. Where I go doesn't make a difference. I have to separate from you. I can't hang out with you anymore. We're going 2 different ways. That's the avodah. Not to just follow like blindly, like the sheep. We have to take the lead. We have to take control of who we are. Lech Lecha is all about becoming bigger. Now, Avraham Avinu, he found God either at 3 or 40 or 48, but he left home. The parasha of Lech Lecha, leave your father's house, was at 75 years old. 75 is Gematria B'tachon. When Avraham became filled with B'tachon, that's when he bounced. Where am I going? Doesn't matter. I have B'tachon in Hashem. Literally, the Torah doesn't say where to go. Why not? So the main focus of Torah is where you go, where God is. That's the purpose. That's what we're here for. And if you don't think that's why we're here, so then you have to question everything you're doing. Because then what's the purpose of being here if it's not to build a relationship with Hashem? And everything becomes futile. The first hiccup in the road, so you just give it all up. Right? The first time you invest in the stock and it dips, so like you're done for. The message of Avraham Avinu is to come closer to Hashem. Now Hashem tells Avraham something impossible in this week's parasha. He says, let's go. I'm going to take you outside. Brit Ben Betarim, the relationship, the covenant, the promise between Hashem and Abraham. And Hashem says to Avraham Avinu, look at the stars. Count. I don't know about you. What do you say if someone tells you go count the stars? You crazy? You can't. You can't count the stars. There's no way. What's Avraham Avinu say to Hashem? Bet. 1, 2, 3. Yo, where are you going? For real? What are you counting for? Because Avraham understood that it doesn't matter. Hashem says jump, you say how high. Hashem says count, start counting. What was the purpose? We know, by the way, scientifically, there's a DNA strand, Kohen. There's a DNA strand all Kohanim have. It's fact, scientifically proven. It's mind-blowing. There's a strand, a spiritual nekuda in your DNA. It's called spiritual DNA that we got from Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu, when he started counting without thinking, Hashem said count, so he starts counting. What was the purpose? Avraham was a smart man. He knew he wasn't going to count the stars. You can't. He says, I'm trying to instill into my children, thousands of years later, today, that when Hashem says count the stars, just count. Don't worry. Trust that He knows what the heck He's doing. So I'm not asking any questions, I'm just doing it. Avraham set us up for success. It says at the end of this week's parasha is a very big mitzvah. What mitzvah is this week's parasha? Second mitzvah in the entire Torah. Brit Milah. Beautiful. Brit Milah. Avraham Avinu was how old at his Brit Milah?
99.
99 years old. So Avraham Avinu was commanded Brit Milah, 99 years old. It's pretty intense. He has 3 friends. Avraham Avinu has 3 friends. Aner, Eshkol, and Mamre. He goes over to them, he asks them, the Medrash says, he asked them, should I do this or should I not do this? So 2 of them said, dude, you're crazy. You're 99 years old. You're a God. They weren't Jewish. Your God told you to circumcise yourself. You're 99 years old. You're going to die. Like, what are you gaining out of this? Mamre tells him, go for it. God told you to do it. You believe in your God. How do you not? It's a very, very simple question they bring down. Avraham Avinu needed Mamre to tell him to do it. He didn't know to do it on his own. He says no. Avraham Avinu was instilling in all of us. He was ready that if Mamre also, if all 3 of them said don't do it, you know what Avraham was going to do? Brit Milah anyways. He was putting into our DNA, our spiritual DNA, the ability to say, I don't care that you tell me it's not allowed. How many Jews went against the rules in their country at whatever time it was? Said, oh, Brit Milah is asur? Okay, I'm going to do it anyways. There's an insane story, I'll never forget, this is incredible. There was a Kiruv camp. Kids are not religious, they went to this certain camp to try to learn more, and they brought up the idea of Brit Milah. And a bunch of the kids at camp were not circumcised. They didn't have their Brit Milah yet. And they decided, these are teenagers, these weren't like little kids. A bunch of them decided, so 8th day is when you have to have Brit Milah. Every day that goes by after that, you're violating the command to have a Brit Milah. So these kids learned about Brit Milah. They wanted to come closer. They said, no, we're going to have Brit Milah. Bring in the oil. So they set up a day, a certain bunch of kids were going to have Brit Milah on a certain day. They were bringing a doctor for anesthesia, and they were bringing them all to do the Brit Milah. So it happened that the day of the scheduled Brit Milah, the doctor who was going to come to give anesthesia couldn't make it. Something happened, he delayed it. The Moel was there. So he said, all right, the head of the camp went over to the kids. He said, all right, guys, listen, we got to postpone the Brit Milah. The doctor can't make it. One of the kids says, no. said, what do you mean no? He goes, today's my Brit Milah. I'm not waiting anymore. I can't. She said, listen, the doctor's not here. I'm excited that you're excited, but like, I heavily recommend you wait for the doctor. And the guy said, no, I'm not waiting. He called over 4 of his friends. It's a true story. He called over 4 of his friends. There was whatever song. The camp had like this theme song for the summer, like a Jewish song. So they sang it like everywhere. Like, you go to breakfast, sing the song. Go to lunch, sing the song, right? So he said to his friends, he said, all right, listen guys, I can't wait anymore. This is what we're going to do. He says, you hold my right hand, you hold my left hand, you hold my right foot, you hold my left foot, and you hold me down with all of your might. Don't let me move. And we're just, the 5 of us is going to scream this. We're not singing the song. We're screaming the song on top of our lungs as much as we can. I'm not waiting anymore. And the director of the camp was like, yo, you sure? He's like, yeah. And he went and they did Brit Milah like that. No anesthesia. Psich. But if you're on fire, Avram Avinu said, of course this kid's going to do that. Because I put into them a spiritual DNA. It doesn't matter when the world says don't do it. You have a fire inside of you to do the mitzvah anyways. Avram set us up for success. When the world tells you, you guys are archaic, you guys are psich, you guys are crazy, we're going to start hating on you. She says, okay, bring it. We're not afraid. It's not the first time. Probably won't be the last time. You know, the number one rule, a hater's going to hate because it's true. I don't want to say his name. I shouldn't even say the whole story, but in a way to try to cover up for himself, he said, I'm jealous. It was probably the only true thing he said. He's jealous. They're all jealous. Because we're the chosen people. It's uncomfortable to say, okay, fine. Doesn't mean we treat other people like jerks, but yeah, we're the chosen people. They're jealous because we got box seats. We're the chosen ones. Avraham Avinu put inside of us, we have the ability to stand up against the whole world. The Yetzer Hara included. We have the ability to, Avraham Ivri means I'm on the other side of the river. Look, you want to go right? I'm going left. What's left doesn't matter, not you. That's what he told him to his face. He goes, wherever you go, I'm going the other way. And it doesn't matter because Hashem's with me. That's what we say. Hashem is with you wherever you go. We've said it before, we'll say it again, we'll say it a million times probably. Rav Shimshon Lastropoli says, if you don't believe Hashem is with you in your darkest moment, when you feel like the world is caving in on you, you got nothing and you can't do this and you can't overcome this challenge or whatever, if you don't believe Hashem is sitting there right with you, you don't believe in God at all. In your darkest, deepest, scariest moment in life, Hashem's chilling with you right there. He's like, I got you, don't worry, we'll get through this. You think it was easy for Avram to take on the whole world? Everybody in the world believed in idols. His father was making avodah zarah. You see, this is all fake. I can't go for this. And he goes, and we all know the story. He breaks the idols, and he tells his dad, who did it? The idol did it. He said, of course the idol didn't do it. So why are you praying to the idol? How many times do we allow ourselves to believe that the idol did it? What does that mean? It means that we make excuses. Oh, it's too hard for me. No, it's not. You didn't try. I'll call myself out. How many times have I gone to sleep like, okay, should go to sleep at this time and wind up going to sleep like 2 hours later? Why? Because I was wasting time doing stupid stuff, looking things up like that. I need to buy this, I need to buy that. And then the next thing you know, it's like 2 hours later and like, oh, I should go to sleep.
You didn't even buy it.
Huh?
You didn't even buy it.
Yeah, you don't even buy it. You just look. And then you go to finally buy it. It's like $10,000 more. And it's like, right? So you wasted 2 hours doing nothing. If I wanted to go sit down and learn Torah for 2 hours, all of a sudden I'm really tired. It was a long day. I got to go to sleep. All right, to stay up looking at stupid things, I have all the time in the world. It's only tonight. Okay, tomorrow I'll catch up on my sleep. Okay, so it's already got 2 nights out of you. Tonight you waste the time surfing the internet for something stupid. Right, the singing fish, I don't know why they just popped in my head. That little thing, you push the button, this fish starts singing. You know what I'm talking about, right? Because we all looked it up, like, that's cool. But you never buy that because it's stupid to actually buy, right? So you wait up 2 hours searching cool, stupid things you're never going to buy tonight. And tomorrow night, when you get home, you're tired, so you have to go to sleep early. So the Yetzer Hara got 2 nights out of you on that one. All right, to sit down and learn 10 minutes of Gemara, I can't do it. You can. Avraham Avinu put inside of us, we have the ability to say, I'm going to be different. I know what's right, I know what's wrong. I have the ability to overpower my... Lech lecha, go to the real you. Be real. Find the inner version of who you are. How amazing is Lech lecha, we say Gematria is 100. If you count the 2 words, it's 102 is Emunah. How do you get out of your comfort zone? How do you go find the real version of you? You have emunah in Hashem. Emunah is lech lecha with the 2 words. And Avram found that, and the Nisayon came when Avram was 75 years old. Bitachon. Emunah and bitachon, that's all you need in this world. That's how we fight the world. Turn to God. He'll fight the fight for us. He's done it until now. He'll do it weiter. He'll do it further. We have to say, I'm in also. I'm ready. Avram was afraid of nothing, guys. The Torah tells us there was a war, 4 kings versus 5 kings. You know what the Torah tells us, 4 versus 5? Who cares? It tells us the names of the kings, and it wasn't just a 4 on 5, by the way. It was 4 kings and their entire army versus 5 kings and their entire army. Why do they tell us 4 versus 5? Who won the war? 4 or 5? 4. Why? So we tell about the fight just to show us the 4 was stronger than the 5. That means they were really, really strong. They were brolic. Abraham, and it says 318 men. Sfarim bring that, I know 318.
That's the Gematria of Eliezer.
Beautiful. Eliezer is Gematria 318. Avraham and Eliezer, 2 men went and took on 4 armies. So the Gemara, the Medrash brings down miracles, needs them to happen. You're crazy? Even if you want to go with the version that was 318 men. So Avraham, Eliezer, and 320 people took on 4 armies of people.
You can break down Eliezer's name. Eliezer. God's help.
Why, bro?
It's worthwhile coming just for you to hear the Torah. Why did Avram do it? Because he said, this is what Hashem wants me to do. There's no obstacle that's going to stand in my way. He goes on, he takes on the armies and he wins. The way that we have to approach going forward from today to tomorrow and the next day and the next day is, I'm being more connected to Hashem. With Abraham, inside of each one of us, Hashem creates a world. Each one of us is our own world. With that spirit, with that strength, with that fire of Avraham Avinu, we recreate ourselves. Each one of us is our own world. We recreate our world every second we're connecting to Avraham Avinu. My bracha to all of us. By the way, you know why Avram is changed to Avraham? And it says, you're not allowed to call Avraham Avram anymore. His name is Abraham. By Yaakov Avinu, sometimes he's Yaakov, sometimes he's Israel. By Abraham and by Sarah, we don't ever see them change back to their previous names. Avram becomes Abraham, done. Never goes back to the old version. Sarai becomes Sarah, done. Never goes back to the old version. Why? Yaakov in Israel, it's okay. Other people have other names, right? Moshe has like 100 names, not 100, 7 names in Moshe. You don't see that you can't call Moshe any other name. Only by Abraham and by Sarai. What's the purpose? Because once we grow a little bit, that's who you are. It wasn't a mistake. Oh no, I just accidentally, at one time did a mitzvah. No, that's who you are now. You just changed your entire identity.
Is there anyone in Jewish history that's ever regressed?
Well, many people fell.
No, but like that, like
Not per se that
they
angels.
so like
no.
Abraham, he came from nothing, went up, and then back down. Like has anyone ever done that? Like not born really like Moshe didn't know.
Famous people in Torah?
Yeah, in the Torah, not like Jewish, like not recently, like in Jewish, yeah, in the Torah.
In Torah.
Yeah.
Sure there are. I'm saying Abraham Avinu converted, or he made thousands of gerim. They all go back.
Nobody's saying like a main figure.
A main person? Esav.
Esau.
No, he was born.
He was born pretty good. Esav and Yaakov were supposed to be tag team partners. Esav wimped out. He took Easy Street.
Cut his head off again? What was his name?
Usher's
Chushin.
grandson.
son, huh?
Chushin. Dunn. Dunn's son.
Cut that nigga's head off.
Yeah. So, what's the goal? Is once you change, once you use the fire of Abraham to become bigger, to become better, to grow, that previous version of you doesn't exist anymore. You've destroyed that being. You're now a holier person. You're now a bigger person. The goal is to keep growing, to keep being bigger. Whatever version you are today, tomorrow you'll be a bigger, better version. And that's it. That's where you start. You can never go back down again. So that's why we have that Nakuda of Abraham inside each and every one of us. My brachas to all of us that we should constantly find that fire and to connect and to grow and to be bigger versions of ourselves every time there's opportunity.
Amen.
Shkoyach.
Shkoyach.
L'chaim.